Thank you so much.
All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga ki jai.
Jai.
Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudirayet. Nasta prayashva bhadresu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama sloke bhaktir bhavati neshtiki. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Canto 3, Chapter 12. Creation of the Kumaras and others. Maitreya uvacha. Ittite varnitah kshatah kalakhya paramatmanah mahima veda garbhotha yatha srakshin nibodhami.
Okay, so Surinder, would you like to read the translations?
Hare Krishna. Yes, Guru. Shri Nityananda Chandram Patita Sharanadam Gauradam Tam Bhajeham. Sri Maitreya said, O learned Vidura, so far I have explained to you the glories of the form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his feature of Kala. Now you can hear from me about the creation of Brahma, the reservoir of all Vedic knowledge.
Sasarjagrinda tamisram atha tasmiram adikrit mahamoham cha moham cha tamaschanyaya vrittaya.
Brahma first created the Nisayat engagements like self-deception, the sense of death, anger after frustration, the sense of false ownership, and the illusory bodily conception, or forgetfulness of one's real identity.
Drishtva papiyasim shristim natmanam bahava manyata bhagavadhyana puttena manasanyam tato srijat.
Seeing such a misleading creation as a sinful task, Brahma did not feel much pleasure in his activity, and therefore he purified himself by meditation on the personality of Godhead. Then he began another term of creation.
Sanakam cha sanandam cha sanatanam athatmabhuhu sanat kumaram cha munim niskriyan urdhvaretasaha.
In the beginning, Brahma created 4 great sages named Sanaka, Sananda, Sanatana, and Sanat Kumar. All of them were unwilling to adopt materialistic activities because they were highly elevated due to their semens flowing upwards.
Tan babhase swabhuh putran prajah sirjata putrakaha tannai chan moksha dharmano vasudeva parayanaha.
Brahma spoke to his sons after generating them. My dear sons, he said, now generate progeny. But due to their being attached to Vasudeva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they aimed at liberation, and therefore they expressed their unwillingness.
Sovadhyatah sutairevam pratyakhyatanusasanaih krodham durvisaham jatam niyantam upachakrame.
On the refusal of the sons to obey the order of their father, There was much anger generated in the mind of Brahma, which he tried to control and not express.
धिया निग्रह्यमानोऽपि भ्रुवोर्मध्यात् प्रजापतेः सद्योजयत तन्मन्युः कुमारो नीललोहितः.
Although he tried to curb his anger, it came out from between his eyebrows, and a child mixed blue and red was immediately generated.
सवैरुरुद्ध देवानां पूर्वजो भगवान् भवः नामानि कुरु मेधातः स्थानानि च जगद्गुरो.
After his birth, he began to cry, "O destiny maker, teacher of the universe, kindly designate my name and place."
इति तस्य वचः पाद्मो भगवान् परिपालयन् अभ्यधात् भद्रया वाचा मारोदिस्तत्करोमि ते.
The all-powerful Brahma, who was born from the lotus flower, pacified the boy with gentle words, accepting his request, and said, "Do not cry, I shall certainly do as you desire."
Thank you. Wonderful. So first 9 verses of this chapter. Let's have a quick summary of it. Okay, got there. After describing time, so that was done in the previous chapter. We saw the different levels of time, from the time of an atom to a time of Lord Brahma. And now Maitreya explains Brahma's creations. Unless a living entity forgets his real identity as the eternal servant of the Lord, it is impossible for the living entity to live in material condition of life. So Brahma creates 5 features of ignorance. First thing he does: self-deception, forgetfulness, possessiveness, anger, sense of death. But feeling dissatisfied with seeing the sinful nature of his creation, Brahma purified his mind by meditation and created the 4 Kumaras, who are elevated sages. And he asked them to populate the world. But because they were elevated sages, they refused his order to create progeny. They knew to get entangled in this world would not be a good thing. So they said, "No, we are not going to obey you." And of course, Brahma, father, became angry, although he tried to control it. And we saw in verse 8 and 9, from his anger came a blue child. That is actually Lord Shiva, Lord Rudra. So up to verse 20 now, please, Nandalina Maji.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yad arodhi surashreshtha sodviga iva balakaha tatastvam abhidhasyanti namna rudra iti prajaha.
Thereafter Brahma said, "O chief of the demigods, you shall be called by the name Rudra by all people, because you have so anxiously cried."
Hrid indriyani asurvyoma vayuragnirjalam mahi suryaschandrastapaschaiva sthanani agre kritani te.
My dear boy, I have already selected the following places for your residence: the heart, the senses, the air of life, the sky, the air, the fire, the water, the earth, the sun, the moon, and austerity.
Manyormahinaso mahan chivaritadvajaha ugrareta bhavah kalo vamadevo dhritavrataha.
Lord Brahma said, my dear boy Rudra, you have 11 other names: Manyu, Manu, Mahinasa, Mahan, Shiva, Ritadvaja, Ugrareta, Bhava, Kala, Vamadeva, and Dhrittavrata.
Dhirdhriti rasaloma cha niyutsarpir ilambika iravati swadha diksha rudranyo rudrate striyaha.
O Rudra, you also have 11 wives called the Rudranis, and they are as follows: Dhi, Dhriti, Rasala, Uma, Niyut, Sarpi, Ila, Ambika, Iravati, Swadha, and Diksha.
Grihaneitani namani sthanani cha sayoshanaha ebhihi srija praja bahavihi prajanamasi yatpatihi.
My dear boy, you may now accept all the names and places designated for you and your different wives. And since you are now one of the masters of the living entities, you may increase the population on a large scale.
Iti adishtaha swaguruna bhagavanila lohitaha sadvakriti swabhavena sasarjatma samaha prajaha.
The most powerful Rudra, whose bodily color was blue mixed with red, created many offspring exactly resembling him in features, strength, and furious nature.
Rudranam rudrashristanam samantagrasatam jagat nisamya sankhyaso yutthan prajapatirashankata.
The sons and grandsons generated by Rudra were unlimited in number, and when they assembled together, they attempted to devour the entire universe. When Brahma, the father of the living entities, saw this, he became afraid of the situation.
Alam prajabhihi shristabhir idrishibhihi surotama maya saha dahantebhir disaschakshubhirulbanai.
Brahma told Rudra, O best among the demigods, there is no need for you to generate living entities of this nature. They have begun to devastate everything on all sides with the fiery flames from their eyes, and they have even attacked me.
Tapa atishtha bhadram te sarvabhuta sukhavaham tapa saiva yatha purvam shasta vishvam idam bhavan.
My dear son, you had better situate yourself in penance, which is auspicious for all living entities, and which will bring all benediction upon you. By penance only shall you be able to create the universe as it was before.
Tapasaiva param jyotir bhagavantam adhoksajam sarvabhuta guhavasam anyasa vindate puman.
By penance only can one even approach the personality of Godhead, who is within the heart of every living entity and at the same time beyond the reach of all senses.
Maitreya uvacha evam atma bhuvadishtaha parikramya giram patim badham iti amum amantrya vivesha tapasevanam.
Sri Maitreya said, thus Rudra, having been ordered by Brahma, circumambulated his father, the master of of all the Vedas. Addressing him with words of assent, he entered the forest to perform austere penances.
Great, thank you. So, from Brahma's anger in his mind, Rudra is born from his eyebrows. Of course, Lord Shiva is superior to Lord Brahma because he is non-different from Lord Vishnu, except that when Lord Vishnu is in touch with this material world, he transforms into Lord Shiva. So Brahma cannot, for example, become Lord Shiva because Lord Shiva is non-different from Vishnu, apart from the contact with this material world. So in terms of Lord Brahma, his position is he's a jiva, just like you and me. But his position is powerful because he's got 50 qualities in full. So, but here it explains that from Brahma's anger, Rudra is born from his eyebrows. But still, nonetheless, philosophically, we understand that Lord Shiva is in a more superior position than Brahma. There can only be one Shiva, but there can be many Brahmas. The boy, anxious but obedient, is given his names. So he was given 11 names. And he was also given 11 places of residence: the heart, senses, air of life, sky, air, water, fire, air, earth, sun, moon, austerity, without bhakti. And he was also told the names of his 11 wives. He and his famous progeny attempt universal destruction. So when he started to produce, he produced some fearful personalities and they started to destroy the universe. Then Brahma, he was afraid, he stopped them and he asked Rudra to perform austerities. There's the 4 Kumars, there's Lord Brahma, and from his anger comes Rudra, who himself is angry, and hence why he produces the angry progeny. So up to text number 27, please.
अथाभिध्यायतः सर्गं दशपुत्राः प्रजायिरे भगवच्चक्तियुक्तस्य लोकसन्तानहेतवः.
Brahma, who was empowered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, thought of generating living entities and begot 10 sons for the extension of the generations.
मारीचिरत्रि अंगिरासो पुलस्त्यः पुलः क्रतुः भृगुर्वशिष्ठो दक्षश्च दशमस्तत्र नारदः.
Marichi, Atri, Angira, Pulasya, Pulaha, Kratu, Bhrigu, Vashishta, Daksha, and the 10th son, Narada, were born.
उत्संगान्नारदो ज्ञाये दक्षोऽङ्गुस्थात् स्वयंभुवः प्राणाद्वशिष्ठः संज्ञातो भृगुस्त्वचीकरात् क्रतुः.
Narada was born from the deliberation of Brahma, which is the best part of the body. Vashishta was born from his breathing, Daksha from a thumb, Bhrigu from his touch, and Kratu from his hand.
पुलहो नाभितो ज्ञाये पुलस्त्यः कर्णयो ऋषिः अंगिरा मुखतोक्ष्णोत्रिर्मरीचिर्मनशो भवत्.
Pulasya was generated from the ears, Angira from the mouth, Atri from the eyes, Marichi from the mind, and Pulaha from the navel of Brahma.
Dharmah sthana dakshinato yatra narayanah swayam adharmah prishthato yasman mrityuloka bhayankaraha.
Religion was manifested from the breast of Brahma, wherein is situated the Supreme Personality of Godhead Narayan, and irreligion appeared from his back, where horrible death takes place for the living entity.
Hirdikamo bhruvah krodho lobhaschadhara chadat ashad vach sindhavo medran nirtihi payoraghashrayah.
Lust and desire became manifested from the heart of Brahma, anger from between his eyebrows, greed from between his lips, the power of speaking from his mouth, the ocean from his penis, and low and abominable activities from his anus, the source of all sins.
Chayayah kardamo jnani devahutyah patih prabhuhu manaso dihatascheram jnani vishvakrito jagat.
Sage Kardama, husband of the great Devahuti, was manifested from the shadow of Brahma. Thus all became manifested from either the body or the mind of Brahma.
Very good. So, 10 great sages, Marichiyatri and Gira, Pulatsya, Pulaha, Kratu, Brigu, Vashisht, Daksha, and Narad. So all of these, oh, not all of these, at least 8 of them, are part of the Saptarishi group. We talked about Kratu today. And I think tomorrow we have, can't remember now who it was, Kutsa. Pulaha, Pulasya, Angira, Atri, they're all part of the Saptarishis, Vashisht, Brigu. Daksha is not. Daksha is one of the Prajapatis. And Narad is not. Narad is Dev Rishi. He's the Rishi of the demigods. Appear from Brahma's body. Brahma also generates qualities such as religion, irreligion, death, and lust. Kadamuni appears from Brahma's shadow. So we see how from Brahma's mind and his body, these great personalities descend. So text 33.
Vacham duhitaram tanvim swayambhur manaha akamam chakamikshataha sakama iti naha shrutam.
O Vidura, we have heard that Brahma had a daughter named Vak, who was born from his body and who attracted his mind towards sex, although she was not sexually inclined towards him.
Tam adharmi krita matim vilokya pitaram sutaha marichi makhya munayo vishrambhat pratyabodhayan.
Thus finding their father so deluded in an act of immorality, the sages headed by Marichi, all sons of Brahma, spoke as follows with great respect.
Nainat purvahi kritam tvajye na karishyanti chapare yastvam duhittaram gaccher anigrihyan gajam prabhu.
O Father, this performance in which you are endeavoring to complicate yourself was never attempted by any other Brahma, nor by anyone else, nor by you in previous kalpas, nor will anyone dare to attempt it in the future. You're the supreme being in the universe. So how is it that you want to have sex with your daughter and cannot control your desire?
Tejiyasamapi hyetan न सुश्लोक्यं जगद्गुरो यद्वृतं मनुष्ठिस्तन्वै लोकः क्षेमाय कल्पते.
Even though you are the most powerful being, this act does not suit you because your character is followed for spiritual improvement by people in general.
तस्मै नमो भगवते य इदं स्वेन रुचिसा आत्मस्थं व्यञ्जयामास सधर्मं पातुमर्हति.
Let us offer our respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead, who by his own effulgence, while situated in himself, has manifested this cosmos. May he also protect religion for all goodness.
सा इत्थं गृणतः पुत्रान् पुरो दृष्ट्वा प्रजापतिं प्रजापतिपतिस्तन्वं तत्याज व्रीडितस्तदा तां दिशो जग्रहुर्घोरां निहारं यद्विदुस्तमः.
The father of all Prajapatis, Brahma, thus seeing all his Prajapati sons speaking in that way, became very much ashamed and at once gave up the body he had accepted. Later that body appeared in all directions as a dangerous fog in darkness.
This is a very interesting part of Bhagavatam. After Brahma became attracted to his own daughter, his saintly sons begged him to control himself, headed by Marichi. Brahma then became ashamed, gives up his body, which turns into dangerous fog in darkness. So this is quite challenging to understand because Lord Brahma is the topmost living. And of course, our Brahma, this Brahma, the four-headed Brahma, is regarded to be pure devotee. So one can only assume that this is due to the Yogamaya of the Lord, not the Mahamaya, that the Yogamaya of the Lord wanted Brahma to perform or to engage in this sort of act or attempt to engage. So that would be a good lesson for everybody to learn that even the topmost living entity in this material world is not exempt from Maya. So, but actually the Brahma that we have, we are born in, is regarded to be pure devotee of the Lord. So, because this is of course the Brahma Madhav Gaudiya Sampradaya. So the head of the Sampradaya, Lord Brahma, must be a pure devotee. So, up to text number 40.
Yes, Guruji. कदाचिद्यायतः शस्तुर्वेदासं चतुर्मुखात् कथं स्रक्ष्यामि अहं लोकान् समवेतान् यथा पुरा.
Once upon a time, when Brahma was thinking of how to create the worlds as in the past millennium, the four Vedas, which contain all varieties of knowledge, became manifested from his four mouths.
चातुर्होत्रं कर्म तन्त्रम् उपवेदनयै सह धर्मस्य पादाश्चत्वारस्तथैवाश्रमवृत्तयः.
The four kinds of paraphernalia for conducting the fire sacrifice became manifest. The performer, in bracket the chanter, the offerer, the fire, and the action performed in terms of the supplementary Vedas. Also the four principles of religiosity, truth, austerity, mercy, and cleanliness, and the duties in the four social orders all became manifest.
विदुर उवाच स वै विश्वसृजामिषो वेदादिन्मुखतो सृजत् यद्यद् सृजद्देवस्तन्मे ब्रूहि तपोधन.
Vidura said, "O great sage, whose only wealth is penance, kindly explain to me how and with whose help Brahma established the Vedic knowledge which emanated from his mouth."
ऋग्यजुः सामथर्वाख्यान् मैत्रेय उवाच ऋग्यजुः सामथर्वाख्यान् वेदान् पूर्वादिभिर्मुखैः शास्त्रम् इज्यां स्तुति स्तोमं प्रायश्चितं यथाक्रमात्.
Maitreya said, beginning from the front face of Brahma, gradually the four Vedas, Rig, Yajur, Sama, and Atharva, became manifest. Thereafter, Vedic hymns which had not been pronounced before, priestly rituals, the subject matters of the recitation, and transcendental activities were all established one after another.
आयुर्वेदं धनुर्वेदं गान्धर्वं वेदमात्मनः स्थापत्यं चाश्रिजद्वेदं क्रमात् पूर्वादिभिर्मुखैः.
He also created the medical science, military art, musical art, and architectural science, all from the Vedas. They all emanated one after another, beginning from the front face.
इतिहास पुराणानि पञ्चमं वेदमीश्वरः सर्वेभ्यः एव वक्त्रेभ्यः ससृजे सर्वदर्शनः.
Then he created the fifth Veda, the Puranas and the histories, from all his mouth, since he could see all the past, present, and future.
सोदस्य युक्तो पूर्ववक्त्रात् पुरीसि अग्निस्तु तावथा अप्तोर्यामातिरात्रौ च वाजपेयं सघोषवम्.
All the different varieties of fire sacrifices, Sudashi, Uktaha, Purishi, Agnishtoma, Aptoryama, Atiratra, Vajapeya, and Goshava became manifested from the eastern mouth of Brahma.
Okay. So the four Vedas appear from his mouth along with the ingredients of yajna, the fire sacrifice, the sciences including Ayurveda, the arts, histories, Upavedas, and also appear. He also creates the Puranas and the Itihas from his mouth. Very interesting how Lord Brahma is the source of all of this nectar and information, which of course ultimately comes from the Supreme Lord anyway. So now, up to text number 48.
विद्यादानं तपः सत्यं धर्मस्येति पदानि च आश्रमांश्च यथा सख्यम् असृजत् सह वृत्तिभिः.
Education, charity, penance, and truth are said to be the four legs of religion. And to learn this, there are four orders of life with different classifications of castes according to vocation. Brahma created all these in a systematic order.
सावित्रं प्राजापत्यं च ब्राह्मं चाथ बृहत् तथा वार्ता संचयशालिन शीलोञ्च इति वैगृहे.
Then the thread ceremony for the twice born was inaugurated, as were the rules to be followed for at least 1 year after acceptance of the Vedas, rules for observing complete abstinence from sex life, vocations in terms of Vedic injunctions, various professional duties in household life, and the method of maintaining a livelihood without anyone's cooperation by picking up rejected grains.
Vaikhanasavalakhilyo dumbaraha fena pavane nyase kuti chakah purvam bahavodoham saniskriyo.
The four divisions of retired life are the Vaikhanasas, Valakilyas, Odumbaras, and Fenapas. The four divisions of the renounced order of life are the Kuti Chakas, Bhavodas, Hamsas, and Niskriyas. All these were manifested from Brahma.
Anvikshiki trayivata dandanitis tathaiva cha evam vyahirtayaschasan pranavo hi yasya daharataha.
The science of logical argument, the Vedic goals of life, and also law and order, moral codes, and the celebrated hymns Bhu, Bhuva, and Swa, all became manifested from the mouths of Brahma, and the pranava Omkara was manifested from his heart.
Tasyosnig ashillomabhyo Gayatri chatvako vibhoho Tristum mam satsnuto nustub Jagati ashtanaha prajapatehe.
Thereafter, the art of literary expression, Ushnik, was generated from the hairs of the body of the Almighty Prajapati. The principal Vedic hymn, Gayatri, was generated from the skin, Trishtup from the flesh, Anustup from the veins, and Jagati from the bones of the Lord of the living entities.
Majayaha pantirutpana brihati pranato bhavat.
The art of writing verse, Pankti, became manifested from the bone marrow, and that of Brihati, another type of verse, was generated from the life breath of the Lord of the living entities.
Sparshastasya bhavaj jivaha swarudeha udharhita usmanam indriyani ahur antahastha balam atmanah swaraha sapta viharena bhavanti sma prajapatehe.
Brahma's soul was manifested as the touch alphabets, his body as the vowels, his senses as the sibilant alphabets, his strengths as the intermediate alphabets, and his sensual activities as the 7 notes of music.
Sabdha brahmatmanastasya vyakta vyakta manah paraha brahma vabhati vitato nana shakti upabhrahmitaha.
Brahma is the personal representation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead as a source of transcendental sound, and is therefore above the conception of manifested and unmanifested. Brahma is a complete form of the absolute truth and is invested with multifarious energies.
So, education, charity, penance, and truth are the 4 legs of religion. And to learn this, there are 4 orders of life with different classifications of castes according to vocation. Brahma created all these in systematic order. He also creates the modes of expression such as poetry, the alphabet, and music. So very interesting. And now it's right up to the end. I think it's another few verses.
Tato paramupadaya sasargaya manudadhe.
Thereafter, Brahma accepted another body in which sex life was not forbidden, and thus he engaged himself in the matter of further creation.
Rashinam bhuri viryanam api sargam vistritam jnanva tadhirdaye bhuyas chintayamasa kaurava.
O son of the Kurus, when Brahma saw that in spite of the presence of sages of great potency, there was no sufficient increase in population, he seriously began to consider how the population could be increased.
Aho adbhutam etanme vyapritasyapi nityada nahi edhante prajanunam devamatra vighatakam.
Brahma thought to himself, alas, it is wonderful that in spite of my being scattered all over, there is still insufficient population throughout the universe. There is no other cause for this misfortune but destiny.
Evam yukta kritastasya devam chaviksatastада kasharupam abhudvedha yatkayam abhichakshate.
While he was thus absorbed in contemplation and was observing the supernatural power, two other forms were generated from his body. They are still celebrated as the body of Brahma.
Tabhyam rupa vibhagabhyam mithunam samapadyata.
The two newly separated bodies united together in a sexual relationship.
Yastu tatra pumanso bhun manuhu swayam bhuvah swarat striya sich chatarupakya mahisiyasya mahatmanah.
Out of them, the one who had the male form became known as a Manu, named Swayambhuva, and the woman became known as Satarupa, the queen of the great soul Manu.
Tada mithuna dharmena prajahi dham babhuvire.
Thereafter, by sex indulgence, they gradually increased the generations of population one after another.
Sachapi satarupayam panchapatyani ajiñayan priya vrato tanapado tisraha kanyascha bharata akutir devahutischa prashutiriti sattama.
O son of Bharata, in due course of time, he, Manu, begot in Satarupa 5 children, 2 sons, Priyavrata and Uttanapad, and 3 daughters, Akuti, Devahuti, and Prashuti.
Akutim ruchaye pradat kardamaya tu madhyamam dakshayadat prashutim cha yata apuritam jagat. Hare Krishna.
The father, Manu, handed over his first daughter, Akuti, to the sage Ruchi, the middle daughter, Devahuti, to the sage Kardama, and the youngest, Prashuti, to Daksha. From them, all the world filled with population. Hare Krishna, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol.
Thank you so much. Very good. So since the population had not sufficiently increased, Brahma was astonished. And while contemplating, Swayambhu, Manu, and Satrupa were generated from his body. They produced 2 boys, Priyavrata and Uttanapad, and 3 girls, Akuti, Devoti, and Prashuti. From the marriages of the girls to Brahma's sons, Akuti to the sage Ruchi, Devoti to the sage Kardam, and Prashuti to Daksha, the world is populated. So this is how Lord Brahma starts the creation from his body, different things, element and mind, different personalities come forward, and eventually they populate the whole world. Quite an effort by Lord Brahma. Tough job. Anything you'd like to add, Surinder?
Hare Krishna, Dandavat, everybody, Nitai Gaura Haribo.
Hare
Sri
Krishna.
Nityananda Chandram Patita Sharanadam Gauradam Tam Bhajeham. So the last verse ended with some sages' name, and one of them is Kardama Muni.
Yes.
And Kardama Muni, he got married with Devahuti. So when Swayambhuva Manu, he came to see Kardama Muni with a proposal to marry Devahuti. So after having this short conversation with Devahuti, Kardama Muni immediately again started meditating on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna, in the form of Vishnu. Like that. So he was always absorbed in meditation of the Lord Krishna in the form of Vishnu. And he was always in this way in the transcendental plane in Krishna consciousness. So this is very exemplary for us, because in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyajimam namaskuru mama vasyasi satyam te pratijano priyosime. So Lord Krishna advises all of us that Manmana bhava madbhakto. We should always think of the Lord, meditate on the Lord, Shri Krishna. Yes, so in this way, and in this chapter, we understand that there are so many aspects of creation by Lord Brahma, and also about this sexual activity. Lord Brahma is our great-grand spiritual master, and yet he got attracted with his own daughter, like the feeling of what is called incest. So this was also part of the creation and manifestation, such as lust and everything was created by Lord Brahma, and it is described. So in Brahma Samhita, there is a verse which is as follows: Linga yoni yatmika jataima maheshwari praja. Means Linga yoni atmika jataima maheshwari praja. In the kingdom of Maya, means Maheshwari praja. The kingdom of Maya, the living entities are a product of the union of male and female genitals by sexual activity. So because this is so, that's why everybody is has this tendency for sexual enjoyment, material enjoyment. Yes. So so because lust is a eternal enemy of the soul, that is stated in Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says lust is a eternal enemy. So in this way, Gauranga Mahaprabhu has explained Cheto Darpana Marjanam Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam Vidyavadhu Jivanam Anandam Bodhi Vardhanam Pratipadam Purnamrita Svadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. So the process of Krishna consciousness, so it is the cleansing of the mirror of the mind from all these lust, anger, greed, madness, delusion, envy, like that. Yes, and by the process of chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, we cleanse this mirror of the mind by Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Yes, so also it is described that Lord Brahma, he created all different types of knowledge in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Different fields of knowledge is described. Just, in one way, it is mentioned like Ayurveda, Dhanurveda, and etc. It was all created by Lord Brahma. So we have all this knowledge, but the main theme of the Srimad Bhagavatam is to worship Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna, who is a supreme controller. Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. This is main theme. Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajam. That I worship Govinda, the supreme, original supreme person of Godhead. This is the main thing. And apart from the different fields of knowledge are there, but everything should be used in the service of Krishna. It says in Bhagavad Gita, Yat karosi yajanasi, yat juhosi dadasi, yat tapasyasi konteya tat kursva madarpanam. So whatever, it explains something about penance in this chapter. Penance, yes, even Lord Brahma, when he opened his eyes, he saw darkness everywhere. So then he heard the word tapas. Tapas tapa etena tava siddhir bhavishyati. Mahavishnu advises Lord Brahma to do tapas, penance. So similarly, yat karosi, yat yajanasi, yat juhosi, dadasi, yat tapasyasi, means tapasya. Whatever tapasya, austerity or penance we do, we should do it as an offering unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna. And it is in this way, practice bhakti yoga, devotional service. So it is mentioned in one of the verse of Prem Dham Devastotram as follows. Shrotra netra gatyati bodha rodhitadbhutam premalabhya bhavasidha chetana chamatkritam brahma sambhu vedatantra mrigya satya sundaram premadhama devam eva nomi gaura sundaram premadhama devam eva nomi gaura sundaram. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not only beyond the mundane experiences of sight and sound, but he also arrests all intellectual endeavors to know him. Being situated in pure love of Godhead, he remains a mystery and astonishes even those living entities who are fixed in self-realization. The revealed Vedas of Lord Brahma and the tantric literatures of Lord Shiva are simply searching after Sri Gaura Sundara. So reality, the beautiful. So this is a main thing, is that through all the Vedic literatures and even from the tantric literatures of Lord Shiva, we should search after Sri Gaura Sundara. So there is an expression, it says, search for Sri Krishna, reality, the beautiful. Like that, I offer my obeisances to that beautiful golden Lord, Gauranga Sundar, the divine form of Krishna Prema. Nitai Gaura Haribol Prabhu, thank you very much.
Thank you. Very, very nice share. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, Nitai Gauranga.
Very relevant as well. So appreciate that. Thank you. So let's quickly end there. Thank you so much, Ananda Leela. Very beautifully chanted as always. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Catch you
Nitai
soon.
Gaura Haribol.
Hare Krishna.